This podcast features intuitive, psychic, and spiritual impressions provided for entertainment and personal development purposes. Nothing in this episode should be considered medical, psychological, legal, or financial advice. The host is not a licensed professional. All guests participate voluntarily and understand that personal stories or emotions may naturally arise. Listener discretion is advised. Welcome to the SAEL Podcast. My name is Farah. I'm a psychic medium and channel, and in this podcast, I channel healing energy and guide guests on journeys that serve their highest good. With every episode, we embark on a new teaching, new realizations, new ideas, inspiration for moving forward. I invite you to remember to guide your own being from within with every step you take, including while listening to each podcast episode. For every human being is unique and individual, and teachings may arise that may or may not apply to all beings, and they may not apply to the guests themselves in every moment of their lives, except for the moment in which it is shared. So I invite you to join and to listen with discernment, guided with your own inner knowing, to take on what resonates and discard the rest. What if the key to healing was not about gaining more knowledge, more techniques, more doing, but about being aware, alive, and open? In this episode, I sit down with Sjoerd, who teaches circular breathing and meditation, as well as offers plant medicine ceremonies and retreats. Sjoerd describes himself not as a guru or shaman, but simply as an instrument for life. We explored the profound simplicity of awareness, why circular breathwork doesn't need to be forceful to be transformative, how plant medicine acts as a mirror for the soul, and what it truly means to let your pain drink from the lake of your own consciousness, as per his own metaphor and training. This conversation is not easy to describe in words. I invite you to listen in presence so you expand and absorb what serves you. Enjoy. Thank you so much and welcome on the SAEL Podcast. I'm truly honored to open this conversation and receive all the wisdom that flows. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. Yes. My name is Sjoerd. I am 41 years old, and I always find it difficult to sort of label myself in the things that I do. I teach breathing and meditation, and I do shamanic work, but to call myself a shaman or a spiritual teacher, it never felt right to say that. I always like to say I see myself as an instrument for life, and I think everybody is. But yeah, I think that's a beautiful metaphor. Yeah.
I love that. Thank you. I appreciate this opening. What brought you onto this path? I'm curious. What was your background growing up in terms of spirituality?
Not so much. No. I was into sports. I really loved sports. Not per se the winning part, I guess. I also loved that. I also loved the winning part, but more than performing it in a aesthetic way. So I played tennis. I really liked that. And to just hit the ball in a nice and elegant and way. And maybe there's a little bridge already to spirituality in that. Yeah, growing up there was no altar at the home where I grew up or something. It was not like my parents brought me up sharing with me that nature has a voice or something. These kind of things. So yeah, no spirituality in that sense, but a lot of love, I guess. A lot of love was there. Yeah, yeah. Well, what brought me on the path? Yeah, it's a difficult question in a sense because there was no other way or something. I was introduced to yoga, I was introduced to ayahuasca, and I got on that path, and then I sort of fell off the path, so to speak, or went back into old patterns, but something in me just needed to follow this soul purpose. Something like that. It was not like overnight, now I'm on a different path. Now I am on a spiritual path or something. No, not at all. It was back and forth and like a soul longing to live purely and to understand something. And at the other side of the spectrum, there was the mind's habitual patterns and egoic drives that brought me back into old behavior. So it was not like now I'm on a path. No, it was like went like this or like this, and basically it still does in a way. I don't see myself being on a path.
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't see myself on a path. I'm living my life, and that goes like this.
Why nature and why circular breathing? Why meditation? Why those, and let's say not building, this is a really random example. Maybe it's something that you do.
Yeah, right.
Why not like building wood, like wooden furniture and
I would,
architecture?
I would love to build. I would love that. I would maybe even change it because
Really?
an architecture. Wow, you named two things that I would. Wow, I deeply love that. My hands are, and maybe this is a story I keep telling myself. Like I don't know, but I'm not good with building. I would love to do that, but
Mm.
I tell myself the story that I'm not good with it. So I didn't went there building or yeah, architecture or these kind of things that look. It seems like these things are on the other side of what meditation and breathing is. Meditation and breathing, that I understood. I understand meditation and I understand breathing. I think what really draws me in those subjects is that it's about not gaining any new information, but letting go of the information of the content that I understand very well. I guess I'm not a good like for example having someone asks me something and then having a set of arguments to
Mm.
build my story on. This is not who I am. I I am drawn into the. I hope I explain myself right. I'm drawn into the emptiness of myself. So the pure or being, awareness. Awareness is always this word that pops up everywhere, like awareness. But what is it? What is that really? Is that awareness? And I think it's over a decade now that I'm just so curious and interested and willing to learn what that is. Awareness. It is not known by collecting information that I understand by now. So to allow myself to get more empty from information, and that is where you come into meditation, and then you start to recognize like, wow, all right. So I am aware, like everybody is. Everybody is aware. Only now I am consciously aware. I am that. I am that awareness is always there. And I get in touch with that. And it's almost like you at some point that you start to taste it. It's so close and it's so everywhere. And then yeah, it's almost like falling in love with it. And that is where meditation comes from. Breathing is the is the, let's say, the activity most close to meditation. I could also skip breathing, but if I choose an activity to get people into that space, I choose breathing. So that would be the answer.
What I'm hearing is like emptying the mind so that you can hold the energy that allows you to really be an instrument for something grander. It's like emptying oneself out of the ego.
Yeah,
You are one with that greater,
uh-huh,
I
yeah,
don't know what to call it in a way, as I see us as like little creatures, humans that are so tiny
yeah.
and in the grand scheme of things, but yet each one of us is part of this great, beautiful mystery that we can't even name. I wonder why we get curious. We can live an entire lifetime without wondering or questioning.
Oh yeah,
The value of integrating that knowing into your day-to-day life makes life worth it in a way.
yeah.
It gives meaning and purpose. You mentioned that breathwork can help you access that level of awareness and consciousness, but you don't need it. Meditation is enough. Meditation is. I want to dig deeper there. I want to understand why. For meditation, for example, it's about what you're saying, stripping yourself of all of the thoughts and just
Yeah.
resting and being. And something I learned from your classes as well is you don't try to control your thoughts. You're just a sky and you allow them to float as the clouds. Sjoerd always starts all of his classes with that. And it's
Yeah.
always a needed reminder. You would
Yeah.
think it's repetitive. It never gets repetitive. I can hear this every day because
Yeah.
our minds are so inundated with thinking.
Mm.
And maybe breathing stops that. How does that work?
Yeah. How does it work? Yeah, I have all these metaphors, and I always use the sky because I think it's a very easy one to understand. But there are more. I have a little list of metaphors that I'm working on actually, because I think they're so beautiful to talk about, to explain something that is so difficult to explain in just words, and metaphors really help. So when we start breathing in this particular way, in this circular way, and I need to say this because done in a relaxed way, not in a forceful way, because, and I don't want to criticize any other approaches or teachers that do it differently. But for me, it's essential that it is done in a relaxed and calm and careful way, so that we feel safety in ourselves, that when this breath starts to bring up unprocessed emotions and tension that we hold on to, we need to feel grounded in ourselves. We need to feel that we are open to receive what comes up. So when it's done in a more forceful way, we subtly tell ourselves that something needs to go. Something needs to go out, or something needs to be experienced in order for us to heal, to understand something. And I think it's essential with the breathing that we let go of any outcome. It's about you start this breathing and you do it really from this meditative state, and not from, okay, let's go, let's go. Yeah, for me, it doesn't make sense to do that. So from a meditative, calm state inside yourself, you start this breath, and then, yeah, it starts to move through your body. And yeah, a lot of people, when they come, they experience emotions that arise, and tension that releases from the body, and the breath just starts to move the tension up. It starts to massage against the tension that is there. Then, if it comes, if the grief comes, if anger comes, if loneliness comes, or whatever it is, we want to be sky-like. Yeah, we want to be open to the clouds that move through us. We want to be open to it. Yeah, we don't want to lose ourselves in the clouds. We don't want to merge completely with the clouds. We don't want to merge with our grief completely. We do want to be very, very intimate with it. For me, the approach, which is more like this Advaita Vedanta approach, is just to completely detach from your feelings and look at it. And I am the awareness. I'm just the awareness, and it's moving through. And it's a valid approach, and it's true, but we also need to be very intimate with it. Yeah, so feel it all the way through. And that is really caring for ourselves. So really feeling this cloud of grief moving, and then realizing at the same time, I am the open space. All right, it's there. I breathe with it. I feel it. I feel it. Maybe even feel the pull to merge with it, like getting into the victim, basically.
Mm-hmm.
But then realizing, oh no, I'm watching it, I'm feeling it, and it's free to move through my sky-like awareness. You've heard this story many times in the breathing class. I think it's a helpful metaphor.
And I think it's needed every time, because no matter how many times, at least personally, I learned to process feelings in my body,
Yeah,
there's always moments when I still find myself reverting to wanting to escape it or resist it or get around it. And
yeah,
it actually takes a split second to really center and ground in the truth of who we are. If you become this sky, you're not a cloud, you know? That's usually what helps me remember, all
yeah,
right, okay,
yeah.
like, I don't
Yeah.
need to be fighting with this.
There's nothing to fight against.
Yeah.
What comes up, comes up. It comes up for a reason, because the thing that comes up feels probably safe enough in that moment
Mm.
to present itself. Well, then it's already there. It's there. And that's why it's so important that we start with the meditation, because if you don't start with this meditative state, you lose yourself again in the clouds, trying to chase it away, or try to breathe it away, or try to understand and analyze and evaluate. It doesn't want that. The clouds doesn't want that. Your grief, your anger doesn't want that. What it wants is just openness from your side. And the good news is that openness is what you are. So you don't have to work for it. There is no understanding involved. You only have to recognize I am here. I am alive. I feel I am here. I am aware. And yes, something comes and I just allow it. It's so simple. It's so simple. We make it complicated by giving a lot of words to it. So that's why the metaphor helps. Yeah, there's a sky. That is what you are. And there are clouds. These are your emotions. Clouds move through. Emotions move through.
What comes to mind now, if your mind's giving any chatter, you decide to design the chatter. If your mind's going to chat anyway, might as well design what it says and give yourself, I don't know why I'm saying this, just repeat to yourself, I accept what comes up.
Yeah.
Accept, allow, be.
There is no chattering mind is no problem. Restless mind is no problem for the meditation, for the breathing. It's no problem. We always have this idea that we need to have a quiet mind or get into a certain state. No, you are already what you are. You are already the awareness, yes? There's nothing to just see what comes up, but we don't want to see. That's the problem. We don't want to see. We don't want to feel. People start itching and twitching in meditation after 1 minute, because they cannot stay with their impatience. And this is very surface level impatience, but they cannot stay with it.
Right.
I understand very well why they cannot stay with it, because it's not a pleasant state. Impatience. Okay, so I start itching and twitching, drinking a sip of tea or whatever. No, sit, look what's happening. And feel also. And then really 2 or 3 breaths and just shining your light. Yeah, you're shining your awareness on all those impatience feelings or whatever it is. Just letting it be there, it's not so difficult. Breathe, all right, impatience gone. But we are so, goes everywhere. All just clouds. And this metaphor, this is not my metaphor, right? This metaphor has been used for I don't know how long. I just like it. So thank you to the ones that came up with it.
Thank you for also planting those seeds in many brains. Where this is starting to touch on is just the power of being. You don't know how to be. Because when you're describing that itchiness and that resistance and not being able to sit in whatever state, it's because we don't know how to be with it.
Yeah.
And why is that?
We don't know who we are. We don't know what we are. We've never been taught that.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
We've been taught that we are a collection of thoughts and feelings. Yeah, we've been taught we are a bundle of memories and information. But all of that needs something. Memories, feelings, sections. It needs something to be experienced. What does it mean? Well, and then I sometimes I would prefer to say aliveness. You need to be alive. You need to be alive. Awareness makes it a bit more subtle, but first you have to be alive. We can all understand that. I have to be alive to feel grief or to look at a painting. I have to be alive first. It's the most obvious thing. But already that sometimes irritates people. Yeah. Yes, of course, but they don't take the step back. Yes, I understand that here, but let me feel that I am alive. And that's why sometimes I use the metaphor, and I tell the people, all right, imagine you sit in your garden, you have a beautiful garden, and this is the last hour of your life, and everything is all right. So we don't have to look back oh, I didn't do that, and I'm angry with that person. No, we imagine everything is all right. We have our family in the house, and we have our last hour. And what we are left with is, wow, I'm alive. This is it. And that you start to just feel and see the fabric of just being, I am knowing that in an hour I do not have this experience anymore in this way. Yeah, there's a transition then, which is another topic, but to just sort of guide people back to the wonder and the magic, if we can say that, magic of shit, I'm alive and I'm aware of it. This is happening, and get out of that narrative. Yes, of course. Yes. No, stop doing that. Go back. This is your last hour. Go back and see and feel. Okay, wait. And then we tap into the sacredness Wow, all right. Now I'm here. And we don't learn that in this society anymore. And in other traditions, they do that. And maybe it would be a good idea to teach it at school. And it happens a little bit more, of course. But, and maybe not even, yeah, then you come into meditation. But that word then suggests that we are doing something, namely meditating. But it's just way more simple, you know? Are you alive? Are you aware? Yes, I am. That's it. Yeah, that would be
It's
good.
in that moment that we wake up, and I think that's what is often described as quote unquote awakening,
Mm,
when you have that level of, oh, I'm here. And then you recognize the power that you have
yeah.
being here. But I feel like we often get into those trance states when we're not aware, when you're not in your aware, alive self. You're almost living from like subconscious patterns and almost in a trance. I'm describing it at least from personal experience where I see the shift in myself, at least energetically, when I'm really awake and here. And I've had moments, at least, when I've recognized I've wanted to come up after breathwork and congratulate everybody around. Congratulations. We're here. It's a gift for all of us that we're here. And
Yeah.
obviously my human brain is like, that's crazy. What are you doing? Don't do that. And frankly, I didn't do that. But just that experience of recognizing the power that we have and the sacred gift that you're describing of being here, but it feels like a 1% of, let's say, my lifetime. I'll only speak from my experience because, yeah, perhaps most of us are, I hope, more enlightened and more aware all the time. How do we start to plant those seeds for our own, like, younger selves? Like, I'm thinking about parenting one's own child and your inner child at the same time so that you grow in a very different world because I think the world that you see is the world that you experience. And if we
Yeah.
teach our brains and inner children
Yeah.
and human children how to see the world, they experience it, I hope, in a different light.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you say just like 1% of my life, I am in that space of unity, and the other 99% uh, less, right?
The way I describe it is like you step into the cylinder of the flow or you
Yeah.
step out
But
and
but
float.
I think that it's just a matter of looking at it,
Mm.
connecting to it, because the other 90%, you're also in unity, but there's a judgment on that experience, on that 90%. So this is not it. Yes, this is also it. This is also it. It's also the mess. It's also the turbulence. It's just a little click. Like I this is a mess, but it's still a mess in unity. And I am
Mm.
aware of the fucking mess I'm in. And I'm
Wow.
aware of, but this is also it. This is also it. It's just a little click, and not judging that experience of messiness or heartbreak or lack of purpose.
Mm.
That's also it. The soul needs to experience those things. It needs to experience, let's say, the darker, the shady parts as well. Otherwise, how would it know the light? How would it know that it's evolving into its true potential if it doesn't experience the 90%? Can you follow?
That is so powerful because the moment you say that, you give permission to these very normal, maybe
Exactly.
of our lives. The way I experience it literally in real time, when you give permission, then I disidentify from it. And then I'm actually more present.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
so cool. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. 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 When you give permission, yeah, I just said this identify sounds for me a little bit too strong in a way. It's more like I just bring it here, just bring that experience to my heart. And
Mm.
what I mean with heart is I bring the experience to being. I'm aware of it. I'm aware of it. So there's if you allow me, there's a metaphor that I think is really nice. Well, this is my own metaphor, and it came to me the last weeks, and I think it's a beautiful one. So there's a lake in a forest. It's a beautiful lake, the most beautiful lake in the forest, right in the middle of the forest, and all the animals, they come to the lake one by one whenever they need it. So, for example, when they are hurt physically, or maybe when the child died emotionally, they come to the lake. Big creatures, small creatures come to the lake, and there's one rule at the lake that when you are at the lake, nobody touches each other, nobody hunts each other. So animals come and they start drinking from the water, and the water heals them. And after they drink, they go back into the forest, and the rule of not hunting disappears again. But they come to the lake. Some animals with a small scratch, they are just there for 5 minutes. They drink a little bit of water, and they're off into the forest again. And some animals with greater wounding or trauma, they need to sleep there for a week at the lake, and they drink. So how I see it is that we the emotions and the unprocessed stress and trauma and everything that we carry with us, these are the animals. These are our inside animals. And the lake represents just pure consciousness. So whenever we feel some tension, superficial tension, stress, or bigger chunks of trauma that rise, we give that. We allow those things to come up and let those emotions drink, rest, be at the lake. The lake is pure consciousness. Yeah. Pure being, which we don't have to understand. We don't have to, we are that. We are the consciousness. So you feel a grief coming up, or you feel an irritation coming up, whatever it is. You just pause. You feel that you are alive. I am aware. Not just a story. Yes, 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 I know. Just slow down. Yes, I am here. I am here. And just allow the grief to drink, be at the lake, to be there and to heal. And as soon as you feel that your grief or your anger is starting to have to calm down, to be vitalized again, all right, then you go on with your life. But these animals, the emotions, they need this safe place, and you are that. No one else can do that for you. And you are that yourself. You need to do that for yourself, and then find there's the inner peace or that lake, which is what you are. You are that already, and to know that place so that they can drink and recharge and vitalize, and they go off into the woods again. Yeah,
Yeah. Thank you. It's always really, really helpful to remember that it's okay to have all the animals come up.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and in the moment you've done that for yourself, you've allowed your depression or whatever it is to drink from your own source, and you see the transformation it brings. You see the
Mhm.
alchemy that happens there. Wow, that's super empowering. Like, shit, I could do this. I could just do this just by being aware and patient and tuning into to my inner peace. I could just do this, and that's empowering. And
Yeah.
everybody um, has the potential to do that. Of course, some people with deep, deep, deep trauma, or very, very, very unconscious people, it is maybe not in this life. It's possible. I don't know. But for people that are, yeah, maybe more interested in these matters, and I don't like to use the term more awake because it sounds so pretentious, but people that are more interested in these matters, they have the access is there, or the openness. People that feel the openness, that is important, to be open.
I love this. There's two authors that always teach about openness, I think as a gateway to this to learn how to be.
Yeah.
And that's Eckhart Tolle and Michael Singer from The Untethered Soul. And I was
Uh,
just listening to a podcast last week where he described how we know how to close, but we don't know how to open.
yeah.
And he didn't necessarily elaborate, or maybe I didn't catch it. But is it because we close off that those emotions get stuck, and then through breath work, we're able to bring them back up and let go eventually?
Yeah. Yeah. We close off because we're so identified and mixed up with with these with these deep repetitive behaviors. We are so this is nervous system stuff. This happens in your nervous system. You can know in your mind that you shouldn't react like that,
Mm,
that you shouldn't behave like that. You can know it here, but then still the nervous system is too fast. It already happened.
yeah.
It carry that in your nervous system. So to close off, we know how to close off. Yes, but we cannot help it until we bring enough awareness to the matter and see, shit, this is happening in my nervous system. See that, then when awareness can shine on that, then we can start to transform it. But before that time, we're surviving, you know. So opening up, it all has to do with awareness. It's all awareness, seeing, feeling, simultaneously seeing and feeling what is happening. And breath work can help in this way. It's a tool. Like ayahuasca is also a beautiful tool for it. And there are many things.
Ayahuasca helped me retrieve memories of sexual abuse from my childhood, and breathwork was the tool that allowed me to process really heavy emotions that
Yeah.
as a child, my nervous system just shut down, was not ready to feel at all. And I continue to find myself resisting in life when those emotions come up. But I found that somehow when I'm in breathwork, my brain goes in a state that feels higher than fear and is therefore able to really stand as the sky and just allow an emotion to process. And you touched on that a little bit ago, and I want to confirm this as my personal experience. When you really let go and release and feel an emotion, the other side of it is really magical because every emotional experience, when we allow it to flow through us, it's energy. And the way I would describe it, it's like walking in a tunnel, and the tunnel has such strong energy, and that's the emotion. And as you walk through it, you're still you, but it builds some sort of strength and it gives information and insight. And this is why I keep going back to breath work.
Yeah.
It feels like a non-resistant way that my brain can get around to feeling some really, really heavy emotion.
Yeah. It's a beautiful description. That's how it works. You can really turn your pain into honey.
Mm.
But yes, with breath work, even more so, what is even more important is that you want that, that you want that, you want to transform that. And there's a lot of people don't want, they do want to get rid of certain emotions, heavy stuff that they carry with them. They want to get rid of it, but that never works. Um, you need to start loving it. You need to love your pain, your trauma, for it to transform. For me, this is so evident. It needs to be held in such a safe space inside yourself, and not 90%, a full 100%, and then it transformed, and it's your teacher. Yeah, it needs to be held completely. And like you say, you know, then there's so much strength in there, and it's wow, you got into you just click over to the other side. But it needs to be it's really radical. It's complete self love and self care. And in these breath sessions, we are invited, because of the strength of the practice, we are invited to really show up for ourselves. And if you come more often, you know the deal a little bit, like, all right, so much, but I'm here for it. I'm here for it. And you learn that, and you train that muscle of being there for yourself. Yeah. It's potent practice.
How do you become the guide for yourself? I don't know, the word guide comes to mind, and I'm trying to understand what the question is that wants to be asked. But
Yeah.
how can we be that guide for ourselves? I see. So in the beginning of my journey, I didn't have the strength to allow myself to feel those emotions. I remember my first time experiencing emotional processing, let's say, event was a few years ago through a podcast by a yoga teacher. And he literally guided, it's like 5 minutes. It guides you to just process any feeling. And that was a light bulb moment for me where I realized, hold on, I have been pushing down an emotion for 2 days when all this time I can
Yeah.
just open and actually feel it in 90 seconds.
Yeah.
That's it. So all of the lingering of the emotion is just because I'm pushing against it.
Yeah.
It literally just wants to be processed, wants to just be expressed. In the beginning of my breathwork journey, I think depending on how, severe or how, how you relate to the emotions that are coming up, if it's really scary and something you're uncomfortable with on your own, it's helpful to have a guide, to have
Yeah.
a source of groundedness, similar to when we experience plant medicine. So how does one become the guide for their own
Yeah.
kingdom of animals that can show up?
Yeah. I think you have to Yeah, I think that you also have to find out in your experience that we are so afraid for the emotions. We are afraid. Why we afraid? Because we think it will overwhelm us, and then we don't get out of it. That it's sort
Yeah.
of it's like a wave, and we don't come out of it anymore.
Yeah.
Maybe we are not even afraid of the emotion of what state it brings us. In like I'm just drowning, and I don't want to experience that. I don't want to experience feeling drowned because there I am losing myself. There I might die. I might not come out.
Mm.
Um, I think it's good, especially when trauma is deep and there's a lot happening, that there is someone next to you, someone that you trust in those cases, that help you, sit next to you, be with you, to see that what you are cannot drown. You can only feel that you are drowning if you think if you are merging with it. But if you cannot understand that because there's so much pain, if you are completely in that story of your pain, you need someone. You need someone to regulate together with you your nervous system and your heart. So all right, breathe, breathe. All right, open your eyes again. Come back, come back. You're still here. You're still here. You're not drowning. You are here. All right, all right. So then we go back again, and you go in. And I think you also need to train that muscle, seeing like, all right, there's this big chunk, this big cloud moving through. It's taking over the whole sky. That you learn that with the help of someone, that it moves through you. You learn that because if it's so intense, you cannot do that by yourself. You cannot be that guide by for yourself right away. You need someone. But in the moment that you are a little bit further on that path, you learn by mistake, by trial and error.
Mm.
Because yeah, you're still here after all the things that already happened, and all the heartbreak and all the everything that happened. You are still here. Nobody died. You're still here, or at least you didn't die. You're still here. So to be a guide for yourself is just trial and error. To really fall on your face. I'm still here. To go down to the ground and like, oh, fuck, I'm still here. And you rise from the ashes, like the phoenix, you rise from the ashes.
Mhm.
We need to experience the darkness. And that is how we become a guide to ourselves, that we experience the darkness. And sometimes there's no way, we don't feel any way out. And it's just shit, it's just like, fuck. And we get through that. And there's a new day. All right. So it's really by your own experience. Your own experience makes you the guide to yourself, not a book. Well, a book can help. Retreats can help, and a breathwork session help. But the real thing is that you go through your life. You go through your life. And you experience, and you feel everything. And you don't walk away from that and shy away from it. And I think that's how you become a guide to yourself. And if you want, a guide to others. There's no teacher training that can make you a guide. There's no practice that can make you a guide. It's life that makes you a guide. What else? Well, a teacher they can create a ground for you to learn, and that's super valuable. I had many teachers, and I have still teachers that. But what really teaches me is, of course, my life, the things that I deal with, and see that I am more and more open. I feel more and more open towards all these experiences.
Where do you see plant medicine supporting someone along their journey? I know you have worked with it on an personal level, as you mentioned earlier, but also offer that in your retreats.
Yeah. Well, plant medicine is it's an amplifier. It's a mirror. It's a very bright mirror that you look into. You get confronted with your stuff, and then and the plant. And then I'm speaking on ayahuasca. This is grandmother spirit. She just holds you in your neck and tells you, now, no, no, look, look, look what you create. This is you, not someone else. This is you. This is your mind. This is your nervous system. Don't look away. And this is the most, I think, ayahuasca, it's not a secret that for me this plant is so clear. It's so clear, and she's so loving. There's so much love in that, and of course the experiences that we hear about that are very intense, and they create all these weird stories, and but this spirit is, it's pure love. It really is. Just holding you like a grandmother, like, look, look, I'm helping you see it. And if we can see it, if we can welcome it fully, then it's only love. There's only love. So plant medicine, and I can only really speak about this particular plant because I've studied it for so long. I can really say that plant medicine helps you to see what you're doing, and to feel the residues, and to not to get it out. It could get out, so with the vomiting or anything, it could get out. But the most important thing is that you see. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I see it now. I see. Yeah, I really love that work.
I love that you describe it as a mirror. How can you make sure that you're prepared before or after? It's our mind. I know there's a lot of stories about it could be dangerous experiences of the medicine, but I
Yeah,
think because of our minds. If your mind has a certain description of your reality and then you're held with a mirror that shows you something different, maybe it creates a shock. And if you don't have the ground or those fortress
yeah,
pillars
yeah,
hold you, so you can handle that difference.
yeah.
What makes you ready? What makes someone ready?
Well, I think it's important also to say that you shouldn't drink such a strong medicine when you are in a very, very chaotic place. So there should be, you have to clearly say yes to the medicine. And that's why they always say there has to be a calling. A calling is not like, all right, fuck it, I will do that. That's not a calling. A calling is like, all right, yeah, I feel that could work. I feel drawn. Yes. And then that is a signal that you have enough grounding or enough openness towards the medicine, and and she will recognize that, and she will recognize your openness, and the intelligence is so far beyond what we can think of. She knows exactly how to work on you, but that would be the signal to know that you are ready.
That's a wonderful way to describe it. And one thing I would add is trying to differentiate if it's an ego desire or a heart
Yeah,
desire, because I think some of us can't tell what a calling feels like. How do I know if it's a calling or if it's an
yeah,
influence I have from, three
yeah.
people that I have in my life who have gone through ayahuasca? Try to differentiate between ego driven versus heart calling.
They when those people might have an ego-driven call, I would say just jump on a call with the shaman or the facilitator, and then know, oh shit, am I really gonna do this? And then you will know, when the medicine comes more close, the
Yeah.
thing starts to move, because oh shit, oh, do I really want this actually? Oh no, no. No, thank you. I will wait. It's strong medicine,
Yeah.
ego-driven reasons. I hardly see, I almost never see people in ceremony sitting there from their mind. I never see it. So when it comes close, the medicine already works. It filters it out. Like that's the intelligence already doing the job.
I want to say it also reflects your intention. I think if you're a practitioner with a pure intention, you draw pure intention. I think it's always a mirror, actually. I think always go back to your own inner heart. If we purify our own intentions, then what comes back to that is the same.
Yeah, yeah.
What would you
Mhm.
say about people who practice without that level of integrity from maybe egotistical needs, whether they're conscious of it or not? Not from a place of judgment, but more of a place
Yeah.
of instruction.
What would I say to them? I would say, listen, listen. I don't judge. I know, and I also know that you are not saying that, but I don't judge the people working with medicine or breath or whatever it is, and doing that from maybe the wrong place. I don't judge them. It is their path to do it in this way, And hopefully by drinking medicine or whatever they do, see that it needs some growing up. It's their soul's mission to do it in this way. I don't judge that. If I look at my path, it was also not one pure line of a story. No, there was also like, if I look back at it, well, yeah, maybe I waited a little bit longer with this or that. I would say, get out of the way. I needs to get out of the way. If you can do that, if that is not in the way, serve medicine in the way that you want. If you are in the way, if you feel that you are doing something, if you are doing something, then, and I've been there as well, I can tell from experience. I've been also doing something in the sessions that I facilitate. But now I don't do anything. I don't do anything. I'm just there. I am out of the way as much as I can. I'm pretty much out of the way. And then the people can be helped, can be, and the people can enjoy it also. So get out of the way. Are you in the way still? All right, then maybe listen what is there, and maybe something needs to something needs to happen, and something will happen. Yeah, because the medicine. You cannot work with the medicine if there's a level of, or a big chunk of impureness. Something will happen, and it will direct you like, oh, the medicine that ayahuasca has this many times. Tick tick, like, oh no, but I wanted to go there. No, tuk, tuk. Came back from Peru thinking like, no, well, I go to Peru and yes, then I know everything. Came back from the plane with only question marks. What's this? Just slapping me in my face, like, no, you're not there. You are where you are. See that, please. See that. See that. See that. See that. Grandmother, see that. Holding me like, yeah.
That's a very beautiful and a humbling, actually, reminder and conclusion. Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome.
There's a couple things that I'll close this off with.
Yeah.
How can those who want to reach out to you connect with you? And
Yeah.
what are the ways in which
Yeah.
they can experience what you describe?
Yeah. So what I've decided that I am not going to be very active with that, with like, look, here I am. If people want to work with me, I trust that they will do their best a little bit. But you can go, there's an Instagram page, and you can read some posts, and there's an email address to be found, and you can let me know that you want to be on the newsletter. But I don't want to promote my work in the fast lane of life. I don't want to push this. If people feel the call to work with me, then make a bit of effort, like we did a few years ago, like 10 years ago. Like, well, let me search a little bit. And now it's just presented in your face all the time, and you can do there and there and there and there, and everybody facilitates, and everybody goes to retreats. And I feel more the calling to present my work from a more silent place. Like, I'm there, but if you want to connect with me, and then yeah, go to find it out, and because then what helps with that is that the people made a bit of effort, and the groups that come together, or the people that find me, it's a bit more like, yes, right, here we are, instead of like just signing a form, like, yeah,
Mm.
yeah. So there's a difference for me. So I trust they'll find their way. There's a newsletter. It's a very humble newsletter. It's not it's a humble newsletter, and people can find that through social media, Instagram, or send me a text. Go to my class in the White Door Studio, tap on my shoulder, like, hey, can I be on the newsletter? Yeah, sure. Yeah, like that.
Thank you. That's a very mindful filter for the quality of interactions that you will have in your.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you. Yeah, yeah. Thank you.
It's always a safe space that you cultivate. And I started breathwork in Berlin, and almost all the classes that I went to were completely intense.
Yeah,
You're crying and screaming, and
yeah, yeah, yeah,
it's so hard on the nervous system.
yeah.
Yours was such a breath of fresh air because I realized, oh, you don't have to force it to have this delightful experience.
No, I'm very happy you say that, because this is what I believe in, to breathe in this way, and not with this.
Yeah.
It's so Western and so masculine,
Yes.
approach in that way, and we have had enough of that. Oh, it's time for the earth and for the feminine and the softness, and yeah, yeah. I stand for that. Yeah.
Sure. Thank you so much. Truly,
Yeah.
I don't know how to put this in words. To be able to like be in the presence of, I don't want to pedestalize anybody here, but it was really touching to genuinely like witness the purity and the integrity of how you work and how you
Mm.
speak and how you carry that force of being. It's really beautiful. I appreciate.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. It's super nice to hear that. Thank you.
Thank you for joining. If you wish to participate as a guest on this podcast, you can submit an interest form below in the show notes. To learn more about SAEL and the intuitive guidance and coaching, I invite you to join my Substack community where I share channeled reflections, insights, and more. Join me at withsael.com. That's WITHSAEL.com. I wish you sovereign being and hope to see you on the next one with light and love and healing for all. Your host and SAEL.